And Bonds hits right high. It's a deep. It is out of here. This is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryant for the win. Bang. Watch out. He's got getting away from the top speed.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SGN video where it's all sim all the time. Today we are bringing you the best slow sim sliders for College Football 26. That's right, if you enjoy playing CPU versus CPU or slow sim where we get to watch the games play out, this is the video for you. Now, some might knock it, but I personally find it extremely enjoyable, and it's a new way to experience the game and have fun. And I'm going to go through everything you need to do to have the best experience possible in the CPU versus CPU slow sim experience. Before we go ahead and do that, if you are new to my channel, do me a solid, subscribe to the channel, man. We just hit 20K a couple days ago, and I am ready to hit our next milestone, 25. So every new person who comes to my channel that clicks subscribe really helps me out. Also, if you appreciate this, like the video, as that'll help spread this to more people who wouldn't have seen it otherwise. Now let's go ahead and dive in. So the great thing about my slow sim sliders is they are built based off of my user versus CPU sliders, and that makes it very easy to transition between the two. We're going to go ahead and cover everything you need to get set up in the main menu. So the first thing you want to do is, if you haven't already, if you're new to my sliders and how I create things, it's best to just do a profile delete, and I do have a video on that, which I will link at the end. But you're going to want to start off with a profile delete. Once you have completed the profile delete, then we're going to go ahead and go to your game settings in the main menu. Now, we're not going to do too much here other than make sure your skill level is on All American. Now, I did say that these are based off of my user versus CPU set, which is on All Madden. Excuse me, Heisman, wrong game. CPU versus CPU does not play well on the highest difficulty. I recommend that you use these on All American or Varsity. You can be used universally. Just make sure the difficulty in the main menu and in your Dynasty lines up. If you're going to go Varsity, make sure they're both Varsity. If you're going to go All American, make sure they're both All American. Core length, we're at 13 and 20 here. Wear and tear sliders, this is what I'm using. I haven't updated this yet. I'm playing around with CPU versus CPU because it should be different, and most likely will be different from the user versus CPU experience. But otherwise, you can use whatever you want to for wear and tear. Not really gonna cover that so much, and a lot of this stuff doesn't matter other than we will get down here to the player speed parity. That's 17. Now, I do have a video on precipitation sliders as well. I'm using the same ones that I'm using for my user versus CPU. Again, this is not a must. You can use whatever you want to for this, but the main thing you need to set here is the 17 speed parity. Everything else we want to leave alone. Default penalties, default player skill, default CPU skill, and do not touch anything in the auto subs or wear and tear on the main menu. Go ahead and follow along just as I have, and then you're going to head over to your Dynasty, where we're going to go ahead and load our Dynasty up right now. And we're going to cover some important factors here inside your Dynasty. Again, a lot of this is going to be similar if you play on my user versus CPU sliders. So the first, of course, we're going to verify. Make sure you are on the correct difficulty, All American. That's because that's what we are in the main menu. We're going to match it up here. Nothing else really matters in here other than that. Once you have verified that you are on the correct difficulty, XP sliders, number one, impact gameplay. Number two, are important to a good Dynasty experience. I built my XP sliders around the gameplay, but also did a lot of tests on them, and I cover that in the XP slider video. So you're going to get great XP progression with the game. So you want to make sure you have these XP sliders in here. Again, I do have a video on this detailing, breaking it down way more thoroughly than here. Right now, I'm just going to show these for you, so you can go ahead and mark these down. These are important, so you need to use these XP sliders. If you don't, you won't get the experience that is intended for you. Next, we're going to head over to our auto subs. Auto subs impact gameplay. This is very important. This is how you're going to want to have your auto subs. We have quarterback at 0-1. halfback 25, 100. Fatigue 60, 65. Again, not a lot is changing here, guys. This is pretty much all exactly the same as my user versus CPU sliders. We actually do only have a couple changes as I go through the auto subs, and those are going to be outside of difficulty to our penalties, which we're going to get to in a moment. Now, I know I scrolled a little bit fast there, but if you want to pause the video or slow it down, you can do that to grab the auto subs. I'm trying to get this video out quickly for you guys, not take up too much of your time. Once you have that set, I will hit on coach. I'd talk about coach schemes and stuff like that. For CPU versus CPU, I haven't messed around with it. It hasn't seemed to be too much of an issue, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Now we're going to head over to our gameplay sliders, and this is important. You're going to make sure you want to hit reset and then import from the main menu. It's going to bring in whatever you set in the main menu as far as speed threshold, which we know is at 17, your injury, your fatigue, and it's going to bring in your precipitation sliders if you choose to set them in the main menu. Then we're going to have them all at 50. We're going to drop ball security to 25 for the player. And for the CPU, this helps with the ball carrier cuts and moves from the CPU. We are only matching up with the user for fumble frequency, to be fair. I am personally on 60, 60, 55 for punt power, punt accuracy, kickoff power, but special teams is something you guys can kind of do whatever you want to here. This is not something that I've spent a ton of time testing, so this is just what I'm on. You can use it. You can do whatever you want to for special teams. It's up to you. Game options, we're keeping everything how it should be brought in from the main menu. So speed threshold 17, whatever your precipitation sliders are, fatigue at 10 and injuries at, fatigue at 50 and injuries at 10. That is how we want things. Then penalties. Here we are. This is what makes the game go. Most important is we're going to have offsides at 20, false start 60, holding down to 30, face mask 30, DPI 99, and illegal block in the back at 35. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this a little bit here. What are we doing for penalties? Now, because I like to say, if you need to make a couple changes, penalties are your key to that. One of the big ones is going to be sacks. If you are seeing too many sacks, you're going to want to lower holding. If you need to see more sacks, more pressure, you're going to raise holding. Holding is essentially the pass blocking slider. That's how it's operating in this game. Offsides, the lower you go, the more the run game opens up. The higher you go, the more it tightens up. Face mask has some implications in the run game, but also has some implications in how the CPU plays. So I would initially go with offsides first for the run game, and then if you need to get a little bit more run game, I'd probably go to lowering illegal block in the back first, and then lower face mask a little bit. You could also get some bigger hits if you raised face mask up, and that would also hurt the run game. If you want to tighten up the pass coverage, DPI is like your pass coverage slider. Now on 99, I raised this up to 99 from 0 because they just weren't throwing the ball downfield enough, and 99 is where we were getting good throws down the field for pass breakups, getting good completion percentage. So guys, that is the sliders set here. Make sure you have everything set up exactly how you see in this video, and have fun, man. Let her buck and enjoy your CPU versus CPU slow sim experience. Otherwise, that's it for this one. Stay tuned to the next one, y'all. Peace.